It's time for some real talk. So in this video, we're talking about some reasons why you might fail on YouTube this year. If you want to use video to share your message, inspire others, or just share stories, then you've come to the right place. My name is Jeven Dovey, and on this channel, I teach you the skills you need to be a successful creator. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss one of these videos. So what we're talking about today is failure. And I'm not just gonna say like, if you do X, Y, and Z, you're gonna fail, because that's not the kind of way that you're gonna learn to be able to be successful on this platform. Over time, I've asked the same question to my audience, to you guys. I've asked, what is your biggest struggle? And the reason that I do this once in a while and ask on different platforms is that I really wanna gauge where all of you are at and what is your biggest struggle, because those struggles are what are gonna end up leading you down that path to failure when you decide to walk away from your channel. So my goal when I'm creating my videos is to hopefully alleviate some of those struggles, or at least point you in the right direction of things that you can start doing so that you don't go down that path of failure. Now, I've been looking at what all of you have been saying, and I've just boiled it down to a few points, and it's the same things get repeated over and over again. And so I kind of want to touch on each of these points and give you a little bit of direction or things to think about so that you don't get trapped by these different points that are going to cause you to fail. So one of the biggest struggles that I see time and time again is time. Everyone's saying that they don't have enough time to put in and make videos to be able to be successful. Well, unfortunately, that is one of the big aspects of being successful as a creator. You have to put in the time. It's not like you're going to be able to just magically find this time to make videos. It is going to take time to create a successful brand, and that's what essentially you're doing. I saw a tweet recently from Roberto Blake. If you haven't checked out his channel, I highly suggest going and checking out Roberto. He's got a ton of content around YouTube education. He's just a great guy as well. Now in this tweet, he's previewing a series that he's doing with TubeBuddy, but essentially he said the average channel with over 100K subs had 840 uploads, and the average channel over 1 million subs had 3,858 videos. That's a ton of videos, and that's a ton of time that was put in to make those videos. Now Roberto's pulling this information from TubeBuddy, and TubeBuddy has access to a ton of data across channels. So when I look at this, to me it says, hey, more uploads is probably gonna mean more subscribers at the end of the day. Now there are some channels that just take off with a few uploads, and then there's other channels where there'll be tons of uploads and no growth. But what this essentially is saying is that it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of content to be able to grow your following. On this channel, I have over 500 videos, and I can't imagine how much time I've put into this channel already. And it wasn't growing at first. And if you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about how with my first 200 uploads, I had like no subscribers. It was a very small following, and it really took just doing it over and over and over before I could figure out what worked for me and what kind of videos I actually want to pursue on the platform. So one of the biggest struggles that creators have told me time and time again is this aspect of time. And so one of the biggest things I can say to you is really think about if this is something you want to pursue. And if it is, you need to start carving out time to make it happen. Whether that's weekends, nights, mornings, wherever you can find time to make videos, you're gonna have to do it, and you're gonna have to put a priority on finding that time. If you're doing this as like a side thing and you have a full-time job, you just gotta figure out where your time is gonna be more well spent. Do you wanna watch that hour of TV at night, or do you wanna make a video and keep going down this path of creating content? Everyone wastes time in different ways, and you just have to prioritize things, and you really have to go after it. If you say you're gonna do it in the future, you're probably not gonna do it. So if this is something you wanna pursue, I suggest getting after it right now. Now, one of the other biggest struggles that keeps coming up is money. And time and money kind of go hand in hand, because the reason that a lot of people don't have time to make videos is because they have to work so they can make money to live. So time and money are kind of tied together. And you're not gonna be making money at first on the platform. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be given tons and tons of money, but there are ways that you can start driving an income from the videos you're creating, even with a smaller following. Now, I'll put a link down below in the description to a playlist that goes through all of the different ways that I make money off of the platform. But when it comes down to it, you really don't need a ton of money to make this happen. You need the time, because the equipment that you need to actually start producing videos is your phone. That's it. You only need just a camera. You don't need all of this gear. You don't need the studio. You don't need the audio, the cameras, the tripods, the monitors, everything else that I have when I'm creating my videos. You can just start with this. And I've done some videos on my channel talking about just making videos with your smartphone, because you don't need anything fancy to start. Now, obviously it is nice once you start getting better cameras, better lighting, better audio, and you definitely want to keep progressing yourself, but you really don't need much to start. And that's one of the other biggest struggles that I keep hearing over and over, and that is, I don't have the right equipment. Look, you don't need to have anything fancy to make videos. We are self-producing here on YouTube. So if you want to do this, just find whatever camera you have access to and just use that. And use that camera until you can get your hands on something better. Now, obviously you want to be thinking, how can I progress all of what I'm doing? How can I make the lighting better? How can I make the audio better? Cameras, everything, background. How do I build my brand? But if you only have access to the smartphone that's in your pocket, just use that and start coming up with creative ways to start building your brand from what you have access to. And focus on creating videos, because like I said earlier in this video, these huge, massive YouTubers have a huge, massive library underneath their belt, because it's not just quality over quantity, and it's also not quantity over quality. It's a mix of the two, but you have to put in the time. You have to put in the work. You have to actually make the videos so that your channel can grow, and then you can actually start having more opportunities to get the better gear and get more funding so that you can have more time and be able to pull more away from your job or your part-time job or whatever it is that's sucking your time away. Everything is at your fingertips. You can make this happen, but you have to actually understand what it's gonna take to make it happen. I think there's too many videos out there that are saying like, this is easy, you can do this. And I'm not saying that you can't do it, but what I'm saying is it is going to take time, and it's gonna take effort, and it's gonna take passion, and you have to really want it. If you're just gonna put out a video once in a while just to see what happens, well, I'm gonna tell you, nothing's really gonna happen. If you want to grow and you want to make money, or you want to build your following, or you want to get to X, Y, or Z, you have to put in time and effort to get there. It's not gonna just happen. There's over 30 million channels on this platform, and there's a very small percentage of those who actually have any sort of following. Now, the fourth thing that I've seen that's the biggest struggle for creators is just mindset. And this comes in different forms. When I see people talk about mindset, it's either the willingness to just go out there and do it, the fear of actually hitting record, the not really knowing what to shoot or how to shoot it, like all of the things that boil around just being in your head too much and not actually just going for it. Nothing's gonna happen unless you hit record and you actually just put yourself out there. When you're creating videos for YouTube, you're creating it for an audience. So you're gonna have to be ready to be judged. You're gonna have to be ready for people to watch your videos. And so if you want to YouTube and create on this platform, you have to be ready to create on this platform and put it out there to the world. So we can play games in our head. We can say that, oh, we'll do this in 2 weeks, or, you know, in a month from now, I'll get started. But if you keep playing these mind games in your head, you're never actually going to move forward. The only way to get to the other side is to just start going after it. And this is with anything. When I sit down and do like an edit of a big project, recently when I was in Thailand, I had this massive project. It had all these different components to it. And for me, I got in my head and I was just sitting there with all this footage, and I spent like days doing absolutely nothing. But the way I was able to get after it and actually start working on these videos was to just put one foot forward. So I just started laying down clips in a timeline. It really didn't make sense at first, but as I started putting elements down, the creative juices started flowing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this section, and I'm gonna do this section. And it all started building on top of each other. And before I knew it, I had like 5 or 6 videos out of that trip finished. And it really takes just actually moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other, because if you don't actually make the motion to go forward, you're not going to actually get anywhere. And that's just one of those things about mindset, is that there's never going to be a good time. There's never going to be the perfect time to start. You just have to go for it. And then you will figure it out over time. You'll figure out how to get the time to make things happen. You'll figure out how to get the money, how to get the equipment, how to learn the skills that you need to make the videos. All of it takes dedication. All of it takes the willingness to put yourself out there. And a note when it comes to learning the skills: if you don't know how to do something, all of the information is out there. Just go find a tutorial, go find a series, go find a creator who actually specializes in whatever topic that you're struggling in, and watch all the videos. Take time to learn the skills, because that time is going to help you actually make the videos so that you're confident, and it all plays together. Skills, time, confidence, mindset. But at its core, what it comes down to is you. It comes down to you making that choice and saying, yes, I am going to do this, and I'm going to put in the time, I'm going to put in the effort, and I'm just going to go for it. And when you're able to just make that happen, and it's not even a question, it's not even an option anymore, things will start moving. So I have a question for you right now. Are you ready to go and jump with both feet in and not look back? Because that's where you need to be if you want to find success on YouTube this year. Now, I've got some interesting things on the horizon. I've been working on some things behind the scene to hopefully make all of this that I've been talking about much more accessible and easier, and just see the roadmap. If you saw what I was doing with my Thailand project, that was a test for a style of series that I'm trying to do on my channel, and also trying to help spread and get other creators on board. So keep an eye out, because I am working on some bigger projects that I'm gonna wanna get everyone involved in, because I think creators, no matter what size following you have, if you want to make a difference, you can make a difference. And the only thing that's holding us back is a way for us to come together and actually make this happen, where you're not limited by time, budget, and all of that. So keep an eye out, because things are coming in this new year, and I've got some interesting things on the horizon. All right, guys, let me know down in the comments, what is your biggest struggle, and how are you gonna challenge it this year? All right, guys, that's it. I will see you on the next one.